States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First on our agenda is Gary Kruger with the Highway and United Consulting.
Well, ours is it green?
And as they are turning on their mics, our attorney, Jacob Ayler, is participating via Zoom. And we also have a drainage board meeting that starts at 10 a.m.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm here with Chris Dyer with United Consulting that is going to kind of explain a multi-bridge project consisting of 16 bridges for the Community Crossings Matching Grant to be they let it or submit the applications October 1st, I believe, to October 31st, the deadline for submit, and then we would be doing the project next year. Chris is going to give a little bit of an update on it, and then Commissioner, if it's approved, would have a contract to sign.
Good morning. So in our recent work with counties, we're finding a lot of increased costs in labor and materials, and so we're trying to find ways to extend the life of bridges so that we can avoid replacing them as often. So one of the ways we've done that is there's certain bridge types where using a waterproof membrane and an HMA overlay on top helps seal the surface off and prevent water from seeping down into the beams, creating deterioration, extending the life of the bridge 10 to 15 years, more than if we didn't do it. So we work with, this will be our fourth community crossings bridge overlay contract that we've worked on, where we find a selection of bridges and perform this work, try to get the most bang for our buck that we can for the county. We go through factors of the existing bridge condition, the amount of traffic the road sees, and the expected lifespan of the bridge, and then kind of put together a summary of we think this list of bridges would be a good option to do this overlay work on in order to help extend life of bridges. So this contract includes 16 bridges, and we're working to get these funded through community crossings with Gary. And basically, this would go to one contractor, and they would bid this out, and they would do all 16 bridges under the community crossings funding. That has a 20% match from the county. So for $1 million worth of construction work, it would cost the county $200,000 in bridge funds.
Do you have any questions or?
You have the funding. Correct?
Yes, I put it in my budget for Community Crossings next year project. Magnitude. This is something that I said we need to preserve our bridges best we can because they're too expensive to replace them. So working with Chris, put this bridge bundle together of 16 bridges that I think will be a definite help. Use the money for the best that we can. Only have to pay 20%.
What is the cost of United Consulting? Is that part of crossing?
The upfront for the design fee is $41,000. That's to prepare all the bid documents, research all the bridges, quantify each location, and put together an estimate for each bridge location to be submitted for the applications. And then there's also a $6,000 part-time construction inspection post-bid services. The county's doing the inspection. We're just post-bid services, so that's if needed, if the contractors have questions or if there's any changes in the conditions of the field when they get out there. That's just a fee at the end for us to address those comments that they make. And that's just used as needed.
You also monitor progress.
The county will be taking care of the inspection, being on site to make sure that it's done where it's supposed to be.
So is that, I thought you'd follow up, Don, the 41,000, is that also included in your budget, Gary, or would that,
That 41,000 would be out of this year's budget.
okay,
I do have the
okay, so it's
Out of
all covered
Hume
through.
Bridge funding.
I think it's very beneficial to keep up with it, our bridges to. Thank you.
I have no questions either. I mean, Gary, you're comfortable with it?
Yeah, I keep up on our bridges as best we can because it costs way too much.
Need a motion to give United go ahead.
Yes,
I'll make up.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second to move forward with United Consulting. Any further discussion? Being none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you.
And I have one more thing that was on the agenda was our highway hours. I was looking to see if we can extend our 410s for an extra 2 weeks, which would put us in the pay period at 21. And we'd start 5/8 on September 14th. Ask if keep moving forward.
I'm good with that. That will correspond with the pay period.
I approve that also.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank
That's
you.
all I have. Any other questions?
No,
Thank you. Appreciate it.
thank you.
Next on the agenda is Teresa.
The reason I am talking today is because our company, WTH, that does our GIS for the county, for our mapping, has sent me a request. CoreLogic, which in previous dealing with the treasurer's office, they are a mortgage company. Well, they're a third-party mortgage company. They deal with a lot of other mortgage companies. They're kind of on the backside. They are requesting information from our GIS data. And so then Steve Leatherman sends me a notice and says, these folks are asking for information, and it's public information that they can get. So they charge them so much for the work that they do to gather the information, and then part of the money comes back to the county. So it's of course, no expense to us, but to get this information, because they do everything for us, but we do get a check for $250 for the data from WTH once it's done. And then, of course, they send a listing of different things that they would like, the different layers as far as the addresses, parcel numbers, soils, water, even talks about county bridges and ditches and landmarks. And I just needed to see if the commissioners were okay with go ahead and doing this. They have done this in the past. They did it at the beginning of the year. I remember doing it like January or February. Needed to come before you and ask you if that would be okay.
Done before.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to let Teresa have the W.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve the WTH request. GIS. Discussion? Being none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is Mr. Mike Gare, Salem Township trustee. Morning.
Good thing is for you, I'm not here to take anything, I'm here to give. Pursuant to Indiana Code 36-6-9-12 and 36-6-10, that became effective July the 1st, all Indiana townships at the end of their fiscal year is to give back, if they can, 30% of their unrestricted funds to the county. Money is to be used for road improvement and infrastructure in that specific township that the money came from. Part of this agreement or this law is to have a memorandum of understanding between the advisory board for Salem Township and the commissioner of the county. All that was in fact July 1st. It will be in effect, receive any monies from the township into the 2026 fiscal. So I don't know if Teresa gave you a copy of the memorandum of understanding.
The chance to review that. That money could only be used for Salem Township.
Correct. Each township that gives, you have to do something for that township.
And then the township advisory or trustee has, needs to communicate possibly what roads.
Correct.
So there's a open communication involved with that.
Yes.
And it's a new law. Appreciate you being proactive. Any questions?
No, I have none. Thank you for your give back.
I'll
Wendy?
make a motion to approve the MOU for Salem Township as presented by Mr. Mike Gayer.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the MOU for Salem Township. Further discussion? Being none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thanks, Mike.
And one other thing, on the memorandum of understanding, I listed Teresa's name and Taylor's name. If you prefer not to have those names on that memorandum and just the commissioner, I do have a second memorandum to that effect.
I think we're okay with.
I didn't want to legally put anybody else, but I didn't want to leave anybody out.
Yep. I think we're okay.
I
with
tried to
her.
cover.
Okay with that? Mike, thank you for everything you're doing. Thanks for everything you've done for the township as well as the county. Thank you, sir.
Teresa, if you could, email me the signed one, if I have to upload
All right, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Brandy Larkin.
Good morning.
All right,
Yes.
okay. Saturday. My printer wasn't working, of course, right as I was getting ready to leave. First, I just want to thank you for listening to the community's request and agreeing on August 4th to hold quarterly Pulaski County town halls. We believe this step shows responsiveness to residents and a willingness to create space for open dialogue, something that people are expressing that they are genuinely grateful for. So I just want to thank you again for this opportunity. I want to give you a quick update on the progress in the thus far and outline what's needed in the county in order to make the event a success. So the venue has been secured. That's Celebration Station downtown Merrimack. That was hopefully out of convenience of the courthouse festivities that weekend as well. That is offered to us at no cost. There is a draft flyer for review. I am working with Purdue Extension's Chris Parker for a neutral moderator and establish best practices and ground rules. Volunteers are already stepping forward to help with logistics as needed, and a draft event flow and needs lists have been prepared. What we are seeking from the county right now is to secure security for the event, post the official public notice, provide recording, live stream resources, and there's some additional opportunities such as providing the index cards or pens for questions, printed agendas, and feedback forms. Be prepared to share some fact-based updates on the key event topics. Confirm if the county will cover what is considered to be a reasonable cost of the facilitator, which based on my study, this is allowed under Indiana Code 36-2-2-2 and Indiana Code 3-2-2-8, or if I should secure a sponsor. And then in advance, which we can discuss at your next commission meeting, is identify the next quarterly town hall date so that it can be communicated to the public and underway for that as well. I will pause now for any questions or comments.
One, looking into this further, there's only two types of meetings the county can have, a regular meeting and an executive session. So the county will call it a regular meeting. Okay? And on the regular meeting, it will be advertised that way. Advertise it to our regular communication that way. And on our agenda, we'll have call to order, and then we could have discussion or committee comments, et cetera, which follows your township or town hall format for that. Okay, so we can only have two types of meetings. So we'll call it a regular meeting. And the agenda will be simple to allow for that.
Would you,
Originally, it was going to be at 10:30. We talked about 10:30 because the town courthouse event is now on Friday. Is that correct, Nick? It's now on Friday. Originally, you talked about 9 a.m.
That was the original.
If the event has been moved to Friday night, then it might be better up for us to start it.
As opposed to, it wasn't at 10:30 that you wanted to have it?
Originally 9 a.m., but Nathan spoke and said that there was the possibility of the courthouse event
Correct,
activities
correct.
taking place that morning. So we, in the group, chatted a little bit about maybe pushed it to 10:30. That would allow you to do both activities that morning. So I think what he's saying is if the courthouse tour is not taking place, could we go back to the originally proposed time?
No,
Good. 9 a.m.
Is that good across the board?
I think so. Is it good for, I mean, my question is for, is Francisville on Eastern still? Okay, then I'm okay with that. I was going to say, if they're delayed or anything, they're on the same. So I'm okay with that.
What did you ask?
Just time. People from, we do have some. Yeah. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, no, we do have some that, you know, North Judson is behind too. So I'm
Then,
just,
as far as your other two questions, security and recording and live streaming, I'll ask and follow up with security. Jenny, would you like to talk about live streaming?
as far as live streaming for the town hall,
Yes.
I don't have a problem with that. I haven't considered that at all, but
I'm not certain, but I believe that under Indiana codes that it would be required. This is a public meeting, so I think we still have to adhere to it the way you do.
Unless there's a issue or a problem.
Only required if it's in this main building. If it's off-site for whatever reason, or the technological basic capacity isn't there, you're not. It's obviously highly recommended, but it is for wherever your central primary meeting location is.
okay.
And I don't know what the wireless situation is at Celebration Station. I mean, I've been there where people have done presentations, but I don't know if they've ever been internet-based or just.
They do have wireless access there, and I think it would probably, considering that we are trying to allow more voices, stances to be able to be shared publicly and reach the greatest number of people possible to be effective, I would strongly encourage that we do what we can to enable live stream. And since it's a county hosted event, I would presume that you have more resources than I do at my hand if needed. I would to help partner to figure that out, but I do believe it would behoove us to have it.
Right. I would agree. Do we have, Nathan, do we have things available here through the county that we can use there?
I mean, yeah, all
We
of
would.
our equipment, other than the sound system, and I'm pretty sure they have their own, all, this is all pretty portable.
Okay. Are you able to do that day, or do we need to secure somebody else to do that?
You know, I'm not able to do that.
Okay.
So
we
I can meet with somebody there on Friday if we need to go over things, and have volunteers to help as needed to work the day of, at no fee to the county. So if somebody can walk us through how it would be on Friday, I feel comfortable that we could probably get some volunteers in place to help make it happen. My concern is if there's any required special logins, anything from county equipment.
As long as I've got you access to this laptop, it's already logged into the county's YouTube. And that's the only issue you would have.
Okay, and then we could leave the equipment with a commissioner
Yes,
so that it's not in the place of
yes,
just one of us, a standard commissioner.
absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
May I then get clarification on the cost of a facilitator? So again, I am working with Purdue Extension with Chris Parker to secure a moderator. Is this something, it's a fee that the county is covering, or do I need to seek a sponsor?
Jacob Ayler, are you there?
Jacob, can you hear us?
Randy, I'm asking Jacob for legal advice on that part of that. Okay?
I appreciate it. This has been a deep dive learning legal stuff for myself as well. While we wait for Jacob, so that I can best prepare and plan moving forward, can you direct me where I need to find this information that states that Pulaski County can only have regular and executive session meetings? I was trying to study the Indiana open door policy, and it
It's
was
a-
my understanding this fit within there acceptably and is done across the state. So if I need additional research, I'd like to do that between now and the next time we connect.
It's Indiana code, so I just Googled it.
Do you know which
Look at
one? Like I've got multiple, and like I said, I have the ones in which, because this isn't
Randy, I'm not
political.
trying to stop this right
Oh,
now.
no, I'm just for
I'm not
research
trying
wanting
do
to
that.
understand
What
which
I'm
one I've got to
doing is
look
I'm
up.
looking for, in my mind, to justify it, a way to make this move forward. So that's why I said we could advertise it as public. I'm willing to do that, okay?
Sir, I'm just asking so that I can look up and do my due diligence to ensure that I understand as much as I can.
I did a Google of Indiana codes, and in the Indiana code, there was two types of.
Don, are you able to hear me?
Yes, now we
Yes,
can.
Jacob.
Oh, okay. To answer your question, or answer the question that was posed, the Indiana open door law is Indiana Code 15-14-1.5-1. And essentially, I don't disagree with Ms. Larkin that these meetings, I'm aware, and I've talked to other county attorneys, that these meetings and town hall sessions are, have taken place in other counties throughout the state. The biggest piece of advice that county attorneys have been given at our training and workshops that we attend is that it's very important that the county have very strict rules as far as decision-making, advertisement, those sorts of things, because the long and the short of it, when you have multiple elected officials together in a public space, the biggest concern that a lot of county attorneys are having is that these meetings, or these sessions rather, can turn into illegal meetings where if they're not properly advertised and commissioners are making statements to the public that, hey, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Well, now you're making decisions and for the county without the proper advertisement, the proper agenda procedure, the proper voting process. And so my biggest concern, it's not saying that you can't do them, I think you can do them. It's the issue of just not violating the Indiana open door law in the process of doing them. So I would defer, I defer to the commissioners as to where you do them, but we want to make sure that if there's an advertisement required, that it's done correctly, that it's very clear that, if this is going to be a town hall meeting, that there is not voting going on. And essentially it's almost like just kind of a prolonged public comment section where one concern that I've had in our commissioner meetings is the purpose of public comment is for the public to address the commissioners. And I've noticed in a lot of our meetings, it turns into a tennis match where public comments are made, commissioners are responding, and it's going back and forth, and that is not what public comment is designed to be. And so, you know, I think a town hall meeting could be an opportunity for the parties to have comments where the commissioners respond to the public and address concerns with the very clear understanding that votes are not being taken. And I think commissioners can take that knowledge moving forward that they get from these sessions, if you decide to hold them, in your, you know, decision-making process down the road when these items arise on the agenda in public meetings. But Brandy, I would point you to the Indiana Open Door Statute, and under that code, there's a number of subsections that kind of delineate the way that the advertisement process works, the rules about, you know, there's a whole section on illegal meetings where essentially you can't have a meeting after the meeting. And the whole purpose is to make sure that there's transparency and that decisions aren't reached in a back room somewhere, that sort of thing. So I would point you to that, and I'm happy to address any further questions as they arise.
Thank you, Jacob. I appreciate that. That's actually in alignment with what I have been studying. That is the area that I went down a rabbit hole in, just trying to ensure that I understand what the ask is and what the expectations are as we communicate it with the public. And the no decision making was most definitely one that, like, as I'm out in the community chatting about it, to say this isn't a voting type capacity. This is just more open dialogue and communication, and allowing our officials to be able to share with us where they stand on important topics, and for us to present any ideas, compliments, concerns to our officials so that the community. So that's an alignment with the planning process so far. So thank you. I appreciate that. But let's come back then to the expense of the facilitator then. Mr. Street, I believe you were asking Jacob.
Jacob, can you still hear us?
Yes, I can hear that.
So is there a code that permits the county to pay for a mediator?
I am not aware of a statute that authorizes the county to do that. If it's county business, and is the question I want to make sure you're talking about paying, is this for paying for a location, or is this paying for a individual to essentially MC the event?
So Jacob, please feel free to correct any research that I've done that isn't quite on track, but I think that under Indiana Code 362-2-2 and Indiana Code 36-2-2-8, that the county is allowed to cover the reasonable cost of a facilitator. The space is being donated to us at no charge. Volunteers are working it. The only anticipated expenses at this point would be the posting and the advertisement, which would go through the standard channels that the community does. If we do flyers, we have citizens willing to pay for the printing of those. So this would be for the facilitator. That and the public posting would be expenses that the county would be responsible for, perhaps outside of like index cards and pens to be provided.
Could you provide that IC code to me one more time, just so I can make note of that, so I can review it?
Yep. IC 36-2-2-2 and IC 36-2-2-8. I can come back to that at your next commissioner meeting, because we do have time between now and then, and we can work with Jacob to get confirmation on that. And if it comes out that the county can't, and we discover that between now and then, I will work on securing a sponsor for that. But if it's allowable, I would hope that the county would support that expense to just keep things flowing.
And I would agree with that. I am all in favor of, I think that the county is in dire need of dialogue back and forth between commissioners and our community constituents. So, you know, I love the idea of the town hall. I would much rather see it as a town hall, and that we comply with the requirements, Jacob, that you've talked about as far as no voting. You know, I do have concerns that if this is just a regular session, that the people still aren't going to be heard and the dialogue isn't going to take place. So that's my concern. But I understand, and I'll go with what you recommend, so long as we're not, we're doing everything we can by code, but I do want to see the dialogue take place.
I do have a proposed outline that I can
And
share.
Randy, I would say if you would like, after the meeting, one of the commissioners or Nathan can provide you with my email address. If you would
Okay.
like to email me, set up a phone conference with me, I'm happy to walk through those things with you to make sure that any of these sessions are compliant.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That'd probably be more effective than trying to figure it all out
Mhm.
back and forth. Thank you. And as I noted, I am working, Chris Parker, and have drafted an outline with ground rules about time limits, mutual respect, a timer, people on deck, like to keep it flowing and try to keep things as organized and effective as possible, and then also allowing the commissioners time to respond. At the opening, we'll each have 5 to 7 minutes to share your stance on the 2 key topics that are chosen. So that is another item that I think we need to button up, because we're going to try, for efficiency purposes, to keep it to 2 main topics. If additional time allows, then you can open up the floor for off-topic comments or questions. The 3 that were proposed were the solar activity or energy storage that's taking place, comprehensive strategic plan, and budgeting. We would want to decide what those are going to be so that you can effectively communicate those to the public, and then ask that questions and concerns presented to you are fact-based and somehow supported, and of opinion. That needs to be stated that it's of opinion. But in order to allow the community time to prepare, and to allow you time to prepare to give your positioning, your education, your insights on things, decide what those 2 topics would be today so that we can include those in the public notice. I presume it needs to be as well.
You'll email them.
Yeah. So I emailed them once before in the
Mhm.
outline. Do you want me to read?
Just covered some items that I don't recall reading out, past the outline. If you,
Yes, I
maybe
can
you did,
resend it.
but yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate that. And the topics, we'll ask Teresa to, for us.
Can we
So-
commit to a date that you have those decided by so that I can? Fine.
Yeah. So Brandy, I'm just trying to understand. You would like us to select 2 of the 3 you just mentioned?
Well,
No,
those were the
that- yes.
proposed ones,
Correct.
correct? Because they
Yes.
seem to be the ones that are gaining most interest right now. And we would like to deflect some, say, speculation and sidebar conversations, approach them with facts.
Mhm.
Yes, those are my recommendations.
So of the solar comprehensive plan and budgeting, correct? I can give you mine right now if you want them. I would say solar and the comprehensive plan. Budgeting is more of a, we're not the fiscal body of the county, so I'm not sure that that one aligns as much with us as it would. But you will have counsel there too, correct?
We have invited them, yes.
Okay. I'll still stick to my 2, but if you guys need more
We have
time.
invited them.
Yeah.
They could have a seat up there if the commissioners choose, but it's the commissioners who will have the seat at just similar to as we are here now. We will have the seat, have the attention of the audience.
Mhm.
So we are asking them to come with questions for you at this time.
Okay. Well, I'm going to change mine if you want to write these down. I'm going to do solar and budgeting.
And I can still email those, Mr. Street, and 3 of you can agree on that and find alignment. Pardon, sir? With all 3, you have an order of priority. It's,
Budget's more council, not really commissioners as much. Solar comprehensive plan, which is also the council involved with that. Everybody. 1, 2, and 3, solar comprehensive plan. And
okay, so, Mr. McClure,
I'm not coming.
you're not going to come to hear the public?
I'm not coming.
Can you at
You want
least
to
state your,
advise why you're not coming?
thank you.
It was a public
Because-
request.
I got other things I'd rather do.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I said I got other things I'd rather do.
Okay.
There's an election coming.
Randy, I think we've answered quite a bit of it. You email us. Teresa's worked on the thing. We're going to start at 9 a.m. and he's going to work on the live streaming, talk to people about security. I appreciate you securing the location for that, and we'll see how this first one goes.
Okay, thank you. My goal remains the same. It's to support you in trying to make this town hall as constructive, organized, and beneficial for both our county leaders as possible.
All right. Thank you,
Thank you.
Brandy. Appreciate all the work you're putting into this.
Jennifer Kniebel, Commissioner.
Okay. I have on their donation ordinance, and I'm just going to read my, my ideas, my concerns here, and just, for feedback. Over the past several years, the intent and promises of donations have been made to many organizations and individuals in Pulaski County. These promises are often used to influence and garner support for large corporations when seeking to do business in Pulaski County. Many times, the promised donations are published in advance of having actually received the funds for a public relations opportunity, creating a misleading and dishonest narrative to the public. Over time, these types of actions weaken public trust. As trust and transparency in Pulaski County government seem to be at an all-time low, in my opinion, I would also like to recommend a suggestion for donations that large corporations may wish to make to the county. And we as commissioners consider, I'm asking that we as commissioners consider some type of ordinance or resolution, whichever is needed, that any donations made are payable to either the Pulaski County Community Foundation or another organization within the county, and that an organization of this type decide how and to whom the donated monies are distributed. In this way, the money must be received before any information is put out for publication, and the county is able to decide where that donated money will best be spent. This will ensure an honest reporting of donations and will help avoid misleading our public. I'm happy to share the information I've learned regarding many of the examples of misleading publicity or unfulfilled and delayed promises or intents of financial donations and support to organizations and individuals after this meeting, if anyone would like to know. I do not want to go through those, but I have a list here of donations just in the past 2 to 3 years. Swine Barn, Splash Pad, 4-H Auction, Pulaski County Tribe, Pulaski County Library, Swinging Bridge, Historical Society, Sheriff's Department, Little League, Fire Departments, Winnemac Elevator Demolition, Educational Training to individuals, Pulaski County Animal Center, and schools. And many of these, there are, if you'd like to talk to me about them, there are instances where money was either promised, money was delayed, it never happened. There was an article in the paper that this was going to happen, never did. And unfortunately, the problem with this is there's never a follow-up. The information is always put out to garner the support that an organization or that a company needs. But when those things fall short, there's never any publicity about that. So it's misleading to the public and it's dishonest. And I think that needs to stop in order for trust and transparency to come back to this county, because Pulaski County we're hurting right now where trust and transparency is concerned. So Jacob, I guess I'm going to ask you to consider this, and we can have discussion as well, but I would like can you hear me, Jacob?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay.
Fine.
So I would like for you to be thinking about how we could go about this to try and build back that trust and transparency, and so that these promises are, we need a way to control this because it's gotten way out of control. So will you give that some consideration, how we might be able to do that?
I would be happy to work with you on those options. And I do know that just to be clear, you're talking about gifts to the county specifically. I didn't hear this from you, but I guess I want to confirm that have there been a history prior to my involvement or your involvement of gifts being given that were not properly reported by the county? Is that what the concern is?
I'm not going to say not properly. What word did you use? I'm going to say misleading gifts, donations that maybe were promised that did not happen. And the information that the county, that our residents are getting are that a lot of these things are happening or going to happen. And then if it falls through, or if there's a problem with it, it's never reported. So I just think we need a better way of accepting donations in Pulaski County rather than just anybody that they feel like needs a donation for whatever reason. So,
and the reason I ask is if this was in the form of, economic development payments from a solar company or a battery storage company or something like that, generally those terms are going to be governed by the agreements themselves.
yes.
But if there are other donations that have been problematic, I'm more than happy to chat with you about those to look at options.
Yes, and it's the latter I'm talking about, Jacob. So, yeah, I appreciate that. And go ahead, Don.
Jenny, what, agencies outside of commissioners? Help me out,
Well, Sheriff's Department would not be,
right? So
right.
do we, question would be, not arguing against this, do we have, it's up for Jacob to look at, do we actually have the authority
Right.
to dictate what fire department, how they accept a donation, how a school, the historical society,
Correct.
but
Right.
we have the legal authority.
And we may not. And Jacob, that's why I want you to look into it. These are just ones that have been brought to my attention and that I recall over the past several years asking questions about that have been misleading. And so I just want to open the conversation right now, Don, for what can we do to bring back the trust and transparency? And is there a better way to do this than what's currently happening? Just a start, for sure.
I think within the county, with Jacob look into that, recognize businesses, organizations that donate to county governments, recognize council.
Right. And maybe talk with the community foundation, outside of our commissioner roles. I'm thinking to ask them if there's a better way for the community as well to be able to handle all of this.
For the community.
Right, for the community. So that's all I have on that currently. I did want to talk a little bit, and I went to the construction meeting at Mammoth last Wednesday. Our roads are a huge concern right now. The traffic on the roads is a big concern. If you follow any social media outlet, you're going to see close calls. Just last week, there evidently was a semi parked on one of our county roads early morning. Tim, did we talk about this one? I think I did mention this one. On one of those foggy mornings. And someone came up behind it and said they nearly smacked into the back of the semi that was parked on a county road. That could have been a school bus that early in the morning. And I know Tim from VS, we talked about this at the construction meeting, that these semis and, they're not allowed to unload or get into the gates until 7:30 in the morning. And because we are a rural county, a rural community, a lot of these trucks that are coming in don't want to wait at a truck stop. They want to get as close as they can. They don't know where they're going. They've not been here before. And they're just parking wherever they want. One parked on my personal property last week. Woke up at 3:30 in the morning and there's a semi in my yard or in my drive. And we're hearing about this over and over again, the near misses that the residents of Pulaski County are having. And this is not going to get better. And if you doubt this, come sit on 200 North or 200 or 300 South, 39 and you will see it. Now, the problem is the solar developers, once the people are in their personal cars, they have no jurisdiction whatsoever. So when they're coming to work early in the morning, leaving in the afternoon, the solar developers are saying they have no say, they have no authority at all. But even during the day, we've got dump trucks that are going well over the speed limit on these county roads. And I am concerned, and I talked to Chris Schramm, our sheriff, about this just a few days ago. Currently, Mammoth is only paying for 12 hours a week of additional patrolling. And in my opinion, for a project of this size and magnitude, that is not enough. Chris, do you want to speak to what you're seeing at all? Do you want to speak to any of this as far as from the sheriff's standpoint? I mean, we spoke and you were very concerned.
Chris is sitting, I did ask them if they would communicate well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Down, have the number of people you have out there that's driving. We just can't control that many roads. I sat out there last week. My place is at the jail for most of the time dealing with issues in there. But I did sit out there with the radar gun. After 10 minutes, I got called. Got to help the guys on the road. I sat on 39, stopped a couple cars. I sat on 200 South, stopped a couple cars. Within 10 minutes, I got I agree with you. We need to have additional hours out there. The problem with filling those slots isn't going to be a problem. When we get 12 hours a week, those hours are snapped up right away. I asked you before the meeting, we have one company right now, right? Just Mammoth.
Mm-hmm, correct.
That's constructing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe these other companies need to step up, even though I haven't started yet, and maybe get us more hours out there. When you're only working from 12:30 to 6:30, Monday and Thursday, that's not enough hours.
Mm-hmm.
I'm restricted on my overtime that I can pay these guys. We had budget hearings last week. I can't just stick them out there and pay them overtime because I'm restricted doing that. But, if they want to put more hours, pay these guys more hours to do that with Extra Duty Solutions, I'll be more than happy to do that. Those hours be snapped up. I have the people, but I don't have the hours. Does
Right.
that make sense?
Absolutely, which is why I believe, when the developers came to town, we said, and I heard this over and over again, these projects cannot stress our current resources.
I stayed
they're
out
being-
3 days late last week, 4 to 7 o'clock and stopped cars. I can't do that 7 days a week.
Correct.
I have a personal life too, but I did stay out and stop some cars.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I helped the guys out. We just need more hours. I can't put it any more simply than that. We need to work more hours. When I requested that, I was turned down.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah. I'm just asking, do you agree that we need
Yes.
more patrolling on these roads? Yes.
We address the problems as they come up.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I have a handheld radar sitting in my car. I do stop the cars when I'm out there.
Right. So I guess I'm going to ask Don and Mike. Thank you, Chris. We
stay
may
there
have,
as long as you want me.
we'll stay there. Yeah. Where are you both in this? Are you okay with us asking for additional support from, and I'm going to assume it would be, Tim, help me out. Would we be asking Doral? Would we be asking Mammoth? Who does this need to be communicated to? And can you do that?
We
as
haven't
well?
had a problem coming up. We got the farming start here in the next month or so. We're going to have added problems out there. That concerns me greatly. I had 3 or 4 complaints last week. I addressed them as they came up. But it's only me plus another road guy or 2 during the day. Farming's coming up. We're going to have problems out there. We need to increase them. I agree with you. Sorry to cut you off.
On a weekly basis, 2 times a week, actually. So we meet with Alaska during the meeting, we discuss. We will also meet with Doral on Thursdays. We'll bring this up with them as it would need them to agree to that. Like you stated, it's an ask. So I don't know if there's a way that Jacob could get with their attorney to revise anything to get that written into the agreement to make it mandatory for not just them, but all of the solar companies. So I'll work with Jacob on what that needs to look like. and we'll be sure to bring up the staff to increase it.
So my question is this an ask or is this something that the county can just demand? I mean, if you want to do business in Pulaski County, you're going to pay for the protection for the residents of Pulaski County. I guess I'm not understanding why this is an ask.
I would have to defer to Jacob with the requirements for the
Jacob, are you still there?
Yes, I am. I kind of have two thoughts, you know, some of this stuff could be addressed in future. I realize there's the issue of, you know, if we have road use agreements that are in place currently. But, you know, I'm not aware of anything that would prohibit the county, and if we need to look at doing this in the form of an ordinance, doing this from a ordinance standpoint and just saying, moving forward from the date of the ordinance, that this is the requirement, if it's not already in some sort of a road use agreement. Because I don't think what you're suggesting is unreasonable. And my proposal would be going forward, any road use agreements have that language, but I don't think it would hurt at all for the county to have an ordinance that backs that.
So Jacob, are you saying that they would be exempt from this because the ordinance wasn't in place when they started, or this is an ordinance that could be put in place currently and they would have to comply with? I mean, we need.
Generally, my initial thought would be is it would be moving forward for the projects, because normally those sorts of things, once they're passed, would be grandfathered in, or there would at least be given some sort of a timeline of reasonable notice to allow them to come within compliance so that it's not sprung on them. And I have their attorney in my ear saying, well, you know, this was just passed and we had no notice of it, et cetera, et cetera. So I think at the very least, there would have to be a period of time in which they were to receive notice and to be able to become compliant with this. And we can kind of talk about what that timetable would look like, about what's reasonable.
You
Okay.
can look into that ordinance. I would appreciate it, Jacob. Here?
I don't think.
Not a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you,
And
Chris.
Jenny, to answer your question, ask me, I really ask your question is, yes, we do need more patrols out there, but we cannot drain our resources, as Chris said. And that's why I said, as Mike was walking up here, I did communicate with Alaskan, who's our middle person, to the middle company, to talk to Darrell Bechtel about additional patrols.
Okay, all right, thank you. And Tim, if you would mention it as well at your meeting, thank you, appreciate it. Okay. I only had one other thing on there, and I've recently had more information come my way, and I need to perform more due diligence before I address that. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Nathan?
Morning, everybody. First thing on my list is a request I am bringing to you from Main Street Winnemac. On Saturday, the 13th of September, Main Street Winnemac will be hosting the second annual Tri-Tender, a quadrathlon that features bicycling, kayaking instead of swimming, and running, and then adds the competitive consumption of a one-eyed Jack's tenderloin. We'll be holding this event this year in conjunction with the Chamber of Commerce's Riverfest in the Winnemac Town Park. Pulaski County Farmers Market will be holding its normal Saturday morning market as well. Part of Main Street's role in the day beyond the race, we hope to hold a chalk walk event on the sidewalks surrounding the courthouse. Asking the commissioners allow this to occur. Chalk will be washable, won't leave any permanent marks. It's just a chance for kids and I suppose adults to make art as part of the day's events.
I have no problem with that, so long as it's appropriate art.
You're
And I'm
asking
sure
us to
somebody will look
approve- You're asking us to approve
Using the sidewalk.
appropriate vandalism.
Yes, appropriate washable vandalism.
I'm good with that.
Thank you. Very At this point, very quick update on the courthouse project. Again, still no new change orders. Current contingency balance, $34,992.50, which reflects a decrease of $20 for the laminated. The building is still closed signs I bought after the fence came down. We have had several instances during the day where John Allen, or if I've been in the building, I have had to point people to the Justice Center because we haven't had courts operating in that building in several years and it's not open. I also have a bill from Ace Hardware for a little less than $11 that will be paid out of contingency. Progress. We're still waiting on the door slabs, meeting room table, and furniture that we'll be ordering soon as part of the day 2 selection. IT work, touch-up painting, and carpentry odds and ends are continuing, and we're still double checking windows in light of the few leaks we had found where caulk needs to be replaced. And I'm working on coordinating the ribbon cutting ceremony. Not a whole lot going on at this time, other than when the IT people are in the building, rarely more than 3 people in there at this point. Any questions?
No?
All right. Website should be going live later today. Crane and Gray worked out a couple of last kinks I caught when I was in the office on Saturday. I'm sure there will still be something of a learning curve for me as we move forward, but I am familiar enough with the essential components to be comfortable with finally going live.
Same address.
So as I explained in the Facebook post that I put on the county's page on Friday, we will no longer have separate mini sites within the site. So there will no longer be a gov.pulaskionline.org or a development.pulaskionline.org. It'll just be www.pulaskionline.org for the entire site, and then just clickable links to individual departments, tourism page, that sort of thing. So as I explained, for most people, it's not going to be a noticeable difference once they get comfortable with it. But if somebody has shared a link to meeting minutes in the past and they want that still to be accessible, they're going to have to find the link, where the minutes are now, or ask me for help just to update the link because the URL will have changed for that a little bit. And then just wanted to follow up on the comprehensive plan issue after we ended up not pursuing it this time around. If the grant for the Madeiraville Fire Station is awarded later this year, we will not likely be able to revisit the project until May of next year, and that is because it's unlikely that everything with the contracts on that project would be executed so that we were eligible to jump in by the February planning grant round. If unfortunately the construction grant from Madeiraville would not be awarded later this year, then we could move forward in February. If we choose to resume this process, whether in February or May, we would be well advised to start the interview process earlier than we did this time. As we know, one of the issues, the biggest issue we faced and why we did not move forward, is that the firm that we had unanimously selected came in with the lowest price option, $20,000 above the grant amount. I checked with Kirksey. We cannot take into consideration price in our interview process. We can take in how they would determine the costs, but not the actual cost. However, once we have made a selection and we have time to negotiate, if we cannot reach a mutually agreed upon price with the consultant that we've hired, we do have the right to go to the second highest scoring consultant and see if they can do the project at the cost we're expecting. If we'd had more time in this process, we might have been able to have worked something out with the other firm. So if we do choose to pick this up in either February or May, we would be well advised to start the process earlier to give us a little bit of room in case that happens again. That's all I have for you this morning, unless you have any questions.
No, I don't. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. Other business? We have presented for us approval and sign claims and payroll number 17.
I've read claims and payroll number 17, and I will make a motion to approve those as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second, the claims and payroll number 17. Discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. We have presented to us minutes from August the 4th, 2025 regular session, as well as the corrections from the July 21st, 2025 regular session.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from 8:04 and 7:21.
I'll second it.
Discussion? We have a motion and a second to approve minutes from August the 4th and July 21st, 2025 regular session. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Conference request, we have two conference requests, both from the Health Department. Our director taking Indiana Environmental Health Association Fall Conference, and Health Department, Maria Roth, Indiana Suicide Awareness and Prevention Summit.
I'll make a motion to accept it.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve the conference request. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye. Those opposed. Under discussion items, we have donation request, Francisville Fall Festival. Quite a few of us received, Fall Festival was requesting donations. That's what they were doing in this situation. We donated to other organizations.
We have not.
I feel like if we donate to one, we have to donate to all. Sure, that's the purpose.
I would agree with that.
I do too.
Agree.
And then we were given a letter about the ADA advisory request. I that correctly, our EMA director is requesting not to be part of the board because she oversees that. Is that how you interpreted that? Looking for some discussion and thought on that.
I'm going to be honest. I would like to have, I think we need to meet with some of those individuals to truly understand, because I've kind of gone around and around trying to understand the whole ADA situation. And I understand that at one time it was under the county highway garage, that the road superintendent and Gary, I think I spoke with you even about this at one point. I don't understand it well enough to know, but this is something that keeps getting kicked around from one to the other. And I don't think that's a good idea. So we need some accountability and some responsibility in the county for ADA. So I think we need to invite the appropriate individuals at some point and have discussion, whether that's in a regular session or an executive session, I don't know. But there's a lot that I need Don to understand about that yet before I can make any determination on ADA.
But I agree. But we received the letters. So
Correct.
I felt like we needed to discuss this. Mm-hmm. And Jacob Ayler.
Yes, I can hear you.
He's there.
Thank you, Jacob. Can you help us look into the ADA advisory board and how other counties or possibly Indiana code or federal code for that example, how that should be made up and how we could probably reorganize this or make it better understandable for all of us?
Yes, I'm happy to help with that. I can also just advise just from my other experience in other counties. And if you would like, I can get you the information, but I do know there is a consulting firm in the state of Indiana that I know Benton County has utilized. I think Jasper County has also utilized this, that specializes in ADA compliant, that can be hired by the commissioners to do an inspection of those facilities and then essentially provide a report of what things meet code, which things don't. And if you would like, I'm happy to dig and get that information if you would like to talk to that consulting firm as well.
Absolutely. I think that'd be very, very helpful for us.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful, but I honestly think the issue here is not so much on the ADA compliance, but who's responsible for it in other counties, you know, who takes that over and oversees it and Because that seems to be the problem currently is no one, I'm not seeing much accountability from anywhere. So it's just kind of a float. I feel like ADA is floating out there somewhere right now. But that might be, that's a start, Jacob, but probably
And
from,
it may be something that would be, as simple as the commissioners appointing an ADA compliance officer who's charged with that on either an annual or biannual basis. Which would, perhaps involve working with a consulting firm, but at least having a point of contact with the county. So that if there are people that have issues, they know where to go to. Because I agree, the commissioners having someone come up to them in a meeting or receiving a letter from someone is, in my mind, kind of a little disorganized. It'd be kind of nice to have an individual charged with this who could then, look at any ADA reports, determine what things need to be remedied in order to bring the county in compliance. And then if they need to appear at a commissioner meeting to update you on something, they can do that.
Very good.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think we
So-
just need some reorganization
Yeah.
and for us to understand as well, as the community to understand as well.
Mhm.
All
So,
right.
so as far as the ADA request to not be on that, are we,
Let's take another look. Jacob, maybe get with us within a week and we can act on that.
yeah, thank you. Okay. I don't want to act on it
With
today
that?
either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think there's, I guess I don't. I think we're okay for waiting a couple of weeks.
Okay. I agree.
To what Jacob said,
I think given that we've got this uncertainty right now, there's probably some benefit in having outside eyes on how we manage it. But as far as what he pointed about identifying needs, I do know that our current EMA/ADA director and our maintenance director have all, and it may actually have been our previous EMA/ADA director, they have compiled a comprehensive ADA transition plan. And we've got that on our website. It documents, I think, every county-owned facility other than the courthouse because obvious reasons. You probably wouldn't be surprised to learn that the 2 annexes are probably the biggest concerns as far as ADA compliance. So that step has been addressed. It may need fresh eyes on it, revision, something, but that has been taken care of. I think it's more, as you're suggesting, just like who, and Jacob pointed out, who should be the right person addressing when a concern is raised, more so than actually identifying the problems that the county's facilities present.
Right. I've seen the binder. It's,
Thank you, Nathan.
yeah, it's quite lengthy.
Took a lot of work to get it online in a way that the website would accept the document.
I'm sure.
With the courthouse, Nathan, I'm assuming that the architects, engineers have written everything out. Everything's accessible.
HS had to sign off a commercial design release based on that, among other criteria.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
This time, VS updates. Tim?
Yeah.
Very good.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I will start with the other ones, the ones that are not in construction. The Moss Creek, we met with last week, and they are on schedule to move forward in the spring. So as time progresses, we'll be working closely with them to ensure everything is compliant, and we're moving forward accordingly. With that said, Bottle Brush, we did not meet with them over the last 2 weeks. We met with them that third week prior, as I discussed during the last commissioner meeting. So there's been no updates from them, but we will be scheduling our next meeting with them in the coming weeks. Mayapple, we're working with them on getting more information on what their tree clearing plans are going to look like this fall. And then we are also coordinating with them with Mammoth as well. So we get the road use agreements between both in line. So that coordination meetings within the next 2 weeks. So we'll talk more on that during next week. So that is for those. We are continually working with them, coordinating with them as time progresses and moving forward. All are set to begin in spring, so we're making sure everything is in that correct status by the time construction starts. On to Mammoth. Construction continues in South and in Central. We are waiting on those revisions as discussed during the drainage board last month. But they have stopped all work near the regulated ditches as they are revising those. Road repairs continue. They have spent over $1 million on those road repairs. As you've noted, there's still some more deficiencies that are noted. We are tracking those and following up accordingly. You've already discussed the safety concerns. I just want to reiterate that we are receiving those. They're not going unheard from the residents. We coordinate with the developer as well with the sheriff so that they can adjust their plans accordingly. There is an upcoming coordination emergency service meeting that we are going to be spearheading the coordination on. We have not sent out that calendar invite yet, but we will. I believe we're projecting it to be next week. So more to come on that, Sheriff. This Friday, as of last Friday, we've sent them the last notice to respond back on some violations that we have noted. If we do not hear back from them by this Friday, we will be issuing the next round of fines. So we're moving forward with that. And as far as I know, the only outstanding one is the one that we issued a week and a half ago. So that's the only outstanding, which they have 30 days to pay. We are continuing our coordination with the attorney on his respective items, with the schools on their respective items, surveyor, building department, and the highway department, as there are outstanding items with all that we are working with them on this. And then our contract extension is currently with the developer for the funding portion. We believe that is being circulated for signatures. It should be in front of you very soon.
Okay, thank you.
Jacob, have you heard any more about the contract for VS with Durrell?
And are you talking about the amended for the additional funds?
Yes, sir.
I had a conversation with Chris Shellman regarding that, and had some email exchanges. From my conversations with Chris, it didn't sound as if this was going to be an issue. It sounds like, and Tim, please correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't sound like he's relayed any objections to me in any of that. And I know we had sent back some emails about some proposed language. Tim, has he made any comments to you to the contrary?
No, we have not heard anything more in terms of that. They did request documentation of what we've done to date, which was a very large email we sent. And so that was all I heard. I did not see any of that contract verbiage. So that's a positive sign on my thoughts.
Yeah, and I am happy to follow up with him today on that, but I will tell the commissioners that from my conversations with Mr. Shellman, I did not sense any sort of objection to what's been proposed. So I will follow up with him today so that we can get that inked and move forward.
Thank you, Jacob. Sorry, Tim.
No, you're fine. Of note, I forgot to touch on this at the top. We will discuss the patrol with the other companies during those coordination meetings in hopes to get them moving forward sooner so that it stays continual, and we will also discuss that with Ralph. Lastly, I want to touch on next meeting. I was summoned for jury duty, so my attendance may or may not occur. It is an evening meeting, so I may be able to make it, but it all depends on how jury duty plays out.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That is all that I have. Any questions?
Thank you, Tim.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
that. All right, at this time, we'll move into public comment. If anyone has any public comments, we ask that you move forward, state your name, residence. We ask that you speak once and limit your comments to 2 minutes or so.
My name is Connie Ehrlich. Can you hear me?
You may.
Yeah, just quickly, I would hope that you would bring back battery energy storage as a topic at the town hall that's coming up shortly. And also, just to summarize, battery energy storage moratorium has been brought up to the commissioners 12 times this year. It has been dodged, avoided, ignored, delayed for all kinds of reasons. And I believe the last reason I heard was, Mr. Street, you wanted more time to think about a moratorium. Well, please take that and put that on the top burner, because I'd like to share with you some information that was given at one of the budget hearings just last week. Apologize for that error, but I'll tell you briefly. And Don, you were here for that budget meeting session. Mike Titi had mentioned battery energy storage. Then it was inaudible for a little bit, but then I heard in March, April. So Mike Titi mentioned this at one of the budget
No,
hearings.
Connie, just for clarification, I wasn't there.
Yes, you were.
At what meeting was this?
The budget session that the commissioner gave in front of the council.
I was sitting at that table?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, because after Mr. Titi made that comment, there was a period of silence. No one questioned Mr. Titi about the battery energy storage comment he made. And then you changed the subject and went to IT consultant or hiring an IT person. So anyway, here's my request. Please consider a battery energy storage moratorium. It's been 8 months. I think you also made the comment that you felt like we could write an ordinance in 3 months, but it's taken 8 months just to get a moratorium. So please put that back on the top burner. Apparently, Mr. Tini knows something about battery energy storage. There was no questions asked of Mr. Titi. So I guess my question to you, I know you're not going to answer it, but what do you know about battery energy storage coming to Pulaski County? And I hope that this is not a reason why we're delaying a moratorium. And I just want to reiterate, we have 0 ordinances written for battery storage systems now. No rules, none whatsoever. So that's pretty alarming for the community. We have to have some rules, regulations, and protections for the county. Then I'm going to move on real quickly to my second comment. We talked about asking for additional patrol and giving Chris some more resources so he can patrol some of these solar projects more effectively or efficiently. I know have heard from the community about their concerns about all of the near accidents and close calls that the community has had. If I recall, and I'm going off of memory, in the UDO, I believe there's a section that gives the authority to the building or the plan administrator to shut a project down if there's health or safety concerns. In that same section, it used to say fire hazard. If she determined that the projects were a fire hazard, she could shut the project down. So I think the county has a lot more leverage than you think. When you go back to Mammoth and some of these other companies, that they need to make sure that their projects are safe and they're not harming our communities. The very last thing I want to bring up is my concern about DS Engineering monitoring some of the future projects, especially the one with Invenergy. And you may or may not know, but Invenergy has hired DS Engineering in the past to do their site drawings. This appears to be a conflict of interest. I think that's something that needs to be looked at, especially when it comes to Invenergy. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good morning. My name is Terry Hansen. I'm from Francisville. And I just want to make a couple comments on Jenny, like you said, and we all agree the traffic has been wild and there have been some near misses. And with new solar projects coming, there's going to be even more traffic and a lot of these people working on the projects are not from this area. And I, like you, have seen on Facebook, there's been a lot of speeding. There's been a lot of people who don't know where they're going. They're not stopping at some of the stop signs. The sheriff's department cannot police everything. DPS is doing a good job. I agree with that. We've had people pass us. There has been speeding. We all understand we're all on the same page with that. With that being said, it is soon to be farming season. And you talked about the semi on the road in the fog. And my husband farmed almost his whole adult life, so I have nothing against farmers. Please don't get me wrong. But with that being said, we're focusing on solar all the time. Is there anything on the books that says farmers can't park their semis on the road either? Because they're parked on the road, parked on the wrong side of the road. Yes, they have their blinkers on, but we're going to have all these people traveling that don't really know a lot of the roads. And then we're going to have farmers coming up in the next month or so with their semis parked on the road. And these people flying around them, going to their solar jobs, or just other people too, kids going to school. We need to keep that in mind. Is there any sort of ordinance or regulations? It's not just solar people that fall. The farmers are parking on the roads as well during the day, and some of them late into the evening with their trucks and their semis on the road. Is there any regulation against that? I guess, is there any county ordinance? I'm just asking.
Not that I know of, too.
Okay, it's just not just, now we have solar, now we're gonna have more solar coming all over the county. So I'm just asking, is that an issue? If we're gonna have any sort of ordinance or policy or procedure, we need to think about that as well too, because they will be on the road. There's gonna be people flying around them, hopefully not speeding, but let's be honest. People are, now we got kids driving back to school too. Sometimes maybe not as cautious. So you need to keep that in mind too. We're not just talking people from out of county, we're talking everybody. And sometimes you can't see around them. Sometimes they're parked on the hills and things too. And also, maybe Gary can answer this too. Is there any policy about how close you can plant your crops to the road? We actually have pictures of crops growing on the gravel road. I mean, that close. My husband, as you all know, he rides a motorcycle every single day unless it's snowing. Actually hit a deer, which is nobody's fault, but the crops were so close to the road, the deer jumped right on the road, hit it with his motorcycle, which isn't the first time, and it can't be helped. But I mean, there's actually no right of way whatsoever. The crops came right up to the road. And thank you to the farmers who do cut their crops back on the corners or stay away from the road. But we've got crops directly near us, right up to the road. Do they have to stay off the road right away, or anything? Is there any regulation about that as well? We don't know. I don't know. I asked my husband, he didn't know. But, thanks to the farmers who do that, but is it worth the extra couple of bushel to plant so close? I was just wondering, is there any sort of rules about that?
And I don't know, but Carla would be the one to ask. And I agree 100%.
I mean, that's just something I wanted to know.
Sure.
My main concern was the semis or the big trucks.
Right.
Because in the farm, equipment does go slower, so people do need to be
Absolutely.
extremely careful driving. That was a concern about, we talked about solar, things they're doing wrong, but let's talk about not parking semis on the side of the road too. Have all this traffic.
And I agree, Terry. I think it's the increase. It's just the increase. There's so much.
Traffic.
Right.
Everybody needs to be vigilant. Thank you.
I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you. One moment. Gary, did you have something?
There's a lot of farmers that, there's some that plant right in the road. So I'm not disagreeing with Terry. So, I've always wondered who's going to get sued.
That's definitely. It's the end of the year. Luckily, he wasn't hurt.
I totally understand. I've talked this situation a lot. Initially, if we can get a mowed 5 foot off the end of the road. So,
Yeah.
me,
Appreciate it.
Start mowing down the corn.
Yeah, thank you, Gary. Yep, thank you. Yes, sir.
I mean, this is the biggest solar project there is, period. I mean, I can't believe that you guys don't have more control over what is being done. Because when you get 30 to 50 trucks running down your road a day, this is not farm time either. When farm time comes in, then what happens when you got tractors and stuff? And I mean, I just can't believe there's something, I mean, our sheriff's department does a great job, but you can't tie his hands and not give him more money so he can do something. This is crazy. I mean, because nobody knew that it was gonna be this much traffic. I mean, that it's gonna be something. This is just, you live out in the country, you're not expecting this many trucks comes up and down your road. I mean, it's just crazy when you're out there looking at it. I mean, I don't know, how do they get appointed to these boards and stuff for these projects like BCA and all this other stuff? I mean, do these people that's on them, do they live in that area where all this is going on? I mean, Don, if you was out there and seen all these trucks and stuff, and how they're up and down the road, I mean, the stop sign is a slow down sign. It's not a stop sign. I mean, we're tying our police force up by not letting them have money to do this. I mean, this is crazy. You need to come out there and watch someday, and you'd see what we're talking about. I mean, it's just, I can't believe that you guys can't say, this is what it's gonna be. I mean, if they don't like it, hey, sorry about your luck. I mean, they're throwing this at us saying that you can't do nothing. You can do something, I'm sure you can. I think the lawyers should tell you, you should be able to do something. You can change them rules. Because this is safety. I mean, there's safety involved here. I'm surprised that we haven't had more wrecks or somebody hasn't got hurt bad. Because it's just waiting to happen is all I can say. I mean, if you was out there to see it, you didn't know what I was saying.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Darrell Goodman, Pulaski County. I just want to bring a couple concerns. They've been brought up before they were brought up today. Just something I keep thinking about. What's the maximum, and I have to answer it, I think it needs to be. What's the maximum number of acres in Pulaski County solar farms? I think that's the future of our county. We need to be very vigilant about that. Then there appears to be no rules or guidelines for the battery storage. That doesn't work very well. We know that. And it would seem to be a good idea until those issues are taken care of, that we have a moratorium until those issues are dealt with. We go on and deal with them. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Tim Hollingsworth, VS Engineering. I just want to touch on the Energy comments that were made earlier. So VS was hired by Energy to do survey, and the drawings we provided were topo drawings. That is the existing land that's out there. We had no design tasks associated with the layout of the construction, the layout of the solar. We only provided the as-builds of what's existing from our survey. Myself, I was not involved in that project. Neither was any of our team. This information was presented at the time of our coordination with the county on bringing us on board, and no one objected anything with that. So we don't feel there's a conflict of interest. We just want to make you aware of this.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Joe Moyer. There's an old saying, piss poor planning makes piss poor performance.
Thank you.
Else? Motion for adjournment?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second the motion?
Motion is second to adjourn. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.